Two. The Born Music. Mini golf, 10, 11, 12, 13. Mini golf is life. 20. Mini golf, yeah.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Worst Album Ever Made, a show where I'm on a quest to find out what is the worst album ever made. And today, I once again answer the beckoning call of a colorful wheel of chance, because today I'm going to be talking about another wacky album, this time being Lil Xan's 2018 disasterpiece called Total Xanarchy. Now, the likelihood of me covering two albums back-to-back that have famously been ripped to shreds by Anthony Fantano is extremely low. I couldn't believe it happened myself. But this has been the hand we've been dealt, and thus we have to endure it. Some will see this as a fitting punishment for my ever-relentless hubris, but for me, I saw it as an opportunity. As a critic, I am limited by my own perspectives, and growing up, I hardly listened to any rap. In high school, I was too focused on learning about Pink Floyd, Nirvana, Journey, The Who, Aerosmith, Queen, The Offspring, and Silversun pickups in high school to dedicate any real time on the genre. But now that music reviewing has taken over such a large facet of my life, I have noticed some blind spots in my ever-growing music canon. So Xan inspired me. I went out and I bought the Rap Yearbook by Shea Serrano to give myself a crash course on hip-hop and rap. I also went out and listened to Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, the Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die, and Tupac strictly for my confidants, which got me ready to tackle this challenge head on. But before we dive in and find out what it truly means to experience Total Xanarchy, it's time to ask the question, who is Lil Xan?
Alright.
Diego Linos, better known as Lil Xan, was born in Redlands, California in 1996. Life was hard for young Diego, who was born into poverty. Throughout his childhood, Xan's family would have to live in motels to stay afloat, and money was always tight. But despite these hardships, Lil Xan had much love for his parents. Like his father, who was an avid music lover, who showed Diego many styles of music, from jazz to punk, and his mother Candy, whose name is tattooed on Lil Xan's face. Xan was a troublesome youth. He was known to frequently skip middle school, and after his first few months in high school, he dropped out. During this time, Diego was unemployed, and he used all that free time to start honing his craft on his true passion, photography. Yes, Lil Xan never wanted to be a musician at first. He was totally happy just spending his time touring the country, taking photos of various rappers like Stephen Cannon. But after getting his camera stolen at a rap show, he decided to give rapping a try, after hearing he could get studio time for as little as $20 an hour. But while he discovered his new passion, he also found new vices. After the age of 18, Lil Xan became addicted to his namesake drug, Xanax. During his interview with No Jumper, he would mention that during his worst moments, he would take more than 20 Vicodins and 10 Xanax a day. And with his music career taking off, it only made his addiction worse. By the time Lil Xan got around to making a debut album, he decided to quit using Xanax and put together a group to advocate against the drug's use. This group was entitled Xanarchy, which is what led to the debut album's name. Lil Xan, at the date of this recording, is now sober, and when he looks back on this album, he sees a lot of regrets he made during its recording. He attributed the album's failure to him not being in the right mindset to make something truly great. To me, Xan looks a lot happier and healthier now, and outside of his recent fan assault problem, it looks like he's doing a lot better for himself. And I hope this continues way into the future. But for now, we're gonna have to look into his awful past with 2018's Total Xanarchy. And let's do that now with the first song off this album, that being Who I Am. The Lil Xan we get here on this album is going through an identity crisis. His rap name is the same as what he's addicted to, and he doesn't want to be associated with the drug anymore. But it's also the only name people know him by. This song is establishing that he does not like Xans, and he does not want to be associated with Xans. But still, the name on the marquee says Lil Xan. So I'm assuming he feels like he can't change it, or else his celebrity status will be taken away from him. And even still, this is a problem for him. His sophomore album goes through the trouble of not even mentioning Lil Xan at all on the cover. But if you look this album up on Spotify, it's a Lil Xan album. If you watch a modern interview with him, they're gonna call him Lil Xan. It must be so infuriating for him. So the first song is saying loud and clear to stop associating him with Xanax. And if you're an outside ear who does not know Diego's struggles, you're going to receive a bunch of mixed messages. Mixed messages like, well, why does he still call himself Lil Xan? And why did he name drop Roly Poly Oly, who is an avid Xanax user? Now, Xan wanting to separate himself from his namesake drug Xanax is a very interesting aspect to explore in a song, but unfortunately, it doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because of an inherent flaw in Xan's writing style. This man runs out of things to say all the time. Even in this song, where he's essentially just repeating himself over and over again, he will still run out of things to say. And whenever that happens, no matter the song, he's just gonna pivot to talk about the one thing he knows best: having sex with a bunch of women. Yes, I know that this is a rap album, and I've come to expect that sex is gonna come up once or twice within a rap album's runtime. But with how frequently this happens within this album, I can only see this as a crutch. Biggie Smalls didn't just talk about big booty bitches. He was a multifaceted man who also talked about his mother and the state of his community, as he did on Things Done Changed. And on that song, Things Done Changed, he didn't use the word bitch once. Why? Because it wasn't needed. It wasn't relevant to the song. Xan's song, on the other hand, uses the word multiple times, each time as pointless as the last. You know, come to think of it, it's been a while since we've had a running counter on this show. So let's just highlight how many times Xan does this by counting every single time he uses the word bitch or hoe in a song. And then at the very end, I will tell you what the running total is for the final score of the album. Since the song just ended, here is the counter for this song. Bada boom! Isn't that poggers? Next song is Wake Up. Wake Up is just so interesting to me. So what this song is about is it's about Xan talking about how awful he feels all the time because of his addictions. And the chorus highlights this by going into Xan's morning routine, where apparently the first thing he does is vomit and then feel like death, which sounds like an awful experience. Now Xan, and to extension the entire Xanarchy crew, are supposedly trying to preach a drug-free lifestyle. But after listening to the verses, which are very braggadocious, and looking at the music video, I'm just sitting here confused because it doesn't look like you're trying to promote a drug-free lifestyle. It looks like you're just trying to look cool. And you have a clash of ideologies going at it, and I don't think it is good, because after hearing the vomit death talk, I don't think you look cool, Xan. I feel sorry for you. And this song is so simple, I'm surprised Xan had enough lyrics to make it to the 2-minute mark. I'm starting to see why that The Guardian wrote in their review of this album that there are no good lyrics in this entire thing. Because, yeah, we haven't heard a good lyric so far. Hopefully we will. At least the instrumental has some fun bass to it. The next song is called TikTok. It is baffling that this song is real to me, because this sounds like some shitpost YouTube music that you would find at like 3 in the morning, except it's released through Columbia and 2 Chainz is on it. And speaking of 2 Chainz, why is he here? I mean, not that he did like a bad job or anything, far from it. In fact, he's the best thing on the song. But having any other feature on a song really exposes how limited Xan is on the mic. While Xan is on here imitating a clock for 2 minutes, 2 Chainz actually has bars. And even if this is like the weakest material 2 Chainz has probably ever written, it is still light years better than what Xan has to offer here. Since I'm going to be tallying up every single time these 2 specific words are said, it wouldn't be fair if I lumped up what a feature said in Lil Xan's counter. So right below it, we can count how many times the feature says these words as well. And we can update that right now. Next song is called Diamonds. Now I know I've been a little bit abrasive in this review so far, and while I still have issues with Xan's lyrical ability, his immaturity, and his overall vocal performance, I can't deny Diamonds is a wicked-ass song. And one of the main reasons for that is Eardrummers produced one hell of a crazy-ass beat. It sounds like they have Mr. freaking Tumnus in the studio, banging out magic through his flute. And with that amazing beat that should not work, but it does, and then you have Lil Xan in there, everything just comes together in a perfect storm of awful. You got nonsensical lyrics, you got slurring 8 words so they sound like one, and you got the unapologetic repeating of the chorus, repeating in like 6 times in less than 3 minutes. Oh my god, it's wild. If you showed me this song, not once would I think this man is being genuine. I would be thinking that they're doing some kind of Sacha Baron Cohen, Andy Kaufman-esque bit. But no, that's just him. That's just Xan. Listen to Diamonds. I thought it was freaking hilarious. And wait till you see the B&H counter on this one. That went up 36 points. Next song is called The Man. Man, I wish I had half the confidence Lil Xan does. Unironically, making a song that's all about saying, man, aren't I awesome? Isn't Lil Xan so freaking cool? And then making a music video where you force everyone to say that back to you is wild. Like, that's wrestling heel shit. That's Jeff Jarrett-ass behavior. And this is yet another time in this album where Lil Xan has nothing really substantial to brag about, so he just decides to go into graphic detail about his various rounds of Zingy Bingy. And his feature on this song is Stephen Cannon of the Xanarchy crew, who follows up Xan by saying that he also thinks sex is pretty cool. I don't like that I heard it, and I hate that it now takes up space in my brain. Next song is called Saved by the Bell. I would like to apologize to Fred Durst for what I said about Lonely World on my Results May Vary review. It's high school, it's public school, every person on this planet was bullied one time or another. You're not special, I'm sorry. You're not. In hindsight, I thought I was being a little harsh on the coverage of that song. If Fred Durst wanted to talk about how much he hated being bullied in high school, he has that right. I think I was just getting frustrated because this was just another song about high school being covered on my show, and I thought, man, a song about high school couldn't possibly get more worse than this. And I was wrong, because I listened to this song, Saved by the Bell. For someone who is promoting himself as a drug-free advocate, I do think it's kind of funny to me that it seems like he is advocating for dropping out of school in this song. Lil Xan apparently hated school so much that he decided to write "fuck them teachers" in this song. I'm sorry, but no matter how many teachers didn't like you in school, it is plain irresponsible to write a blanket statement like this towards teachers. You know, the people who don't get paid enough, who have to go through so much crap, like those people? Brother, you didn't show up to school. Of course they're gonna give you detention. That's not their fault. Lil Xan in this song apparently was told by a teacher that he wouldn't amount to anything. But look at him now. He now has a G-Wagon. Listen, I don't think that teacher should have said that to him. No matter how troublesome Lil Xan probably was in his youth, that's uncalled for a student to be said that you're not going to amount to anything. But Lil Xan is not a teenager anymore. He is an adult who should recognize the fact that he is an anomaly and not the norm. The fact is that he got so freaking lucky that he can make some of the most basic, low-effort songs imaginable and still be set for life despite him dropping out of school. Making a song like this, saying, "Man, I told school to screw off, and look at me now, I'm rich and famous," is dangerous, especially for a young audience, which he had. For that reason, and for the fact that this is one of the most egregious examples of Lil Xan's repeated lyric problem, you have the worst song off this entire project, in my opinion. From one of the worst songs on Total Xanarchy to one of the best, this next song is called Moonlight. Moonlight is one well-needed bit of quality for this project. Eardrummer's beat is a great mellow vibe you can really bob your head to, and this song features Charlie XCX, who elevates this track to another level. And it seems like Lil Xan is actually trying to make something nice here, which is such a breath of fresh air. What's the song about? Well, it seems to be a song talking about a tale of love and loss from two different perspectives. But the overarching message is to do whatever makes you the happiest. Even though Xan's verses have a hard time really telling the story because they're kind of jumbled and all over the place, especially compared to Charlie's verses, I can still recognize that this is a huge win for the Xanarchy team. Moonlight is a fine song. Next song is called Shine Hard. Shine Hard is a digital exclusive to this album, as it does not show up on the physical release. And it's one of the better songs off of the album entirely. Is it because Lil Xan contributes the least amount to this song? Well, I'm not gonna rule it out! The feature of the song is by the rap duo Rae Sremmurd, and they have just hijacked this song. If you listen to this song, you might have been fooled and thought this was one of their B-sides, but it's not. In fact, it's one of Xan's A's. This song is nothing too complex. It's just a simple, nice, clean, braggadocious rap. We got chains, we got tours, we got money, we got the works. It's what you expect from a song like this. But Xan's performance, compared to what we've seen earlier on this album, could have been a lot worse. But unfortunately, it's still the worst part of the song. Rae Sremmurd came up with a nice, catchy chorus for the song, but with Xan providing backup vocals for it, it did lower the quality of that chorus quite a lot. You know there is serious room for improvement when you can essentially remove every single contribution by the title artist and make that song better. It's unfortunate, but that's how I feel. Next song is called Round Here. Alright everyone, you won't believe it, but it finally happened. Lil Xan has finally made a song that doesn't mention bitches or hoes once! Oh my god, I'm so proud of him! Round Here is a song where Lil Xan and his feature YG talk to the listener and the rap community at large. In this song, they claim that a bunch of people in said rap community do not belong because they are posers and are fake. And later on in the song, where Xan is supposedly trying to insult these imposters, He does so by throwing out the weakest insult I've ever heard in a rap song, saying, "You is lame, you a stain. You is lame, you a stain." Meanwhile, when YG is up to the mic, he says, "If you are fake, I will kill you." Man, if I was Xan, I'd be sweating. Now, I'm not trying to say that YG wrote his verse about Lil Xan, but it does seem like a lot of his lyrics do apply to him. This song, like many on this album, features this mumbly, half-awake background vocal by Xan, which just makes me want to grind my teeth on the chorus. And while YG did a fine job on this song, I can't recommend this track due to that background vocal just by itself. Next song is Basically.
You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat.
The more I listen to Total Xanarchy, the more it feels like I'm in a Taco Bell, because each song has the same ingredients, but put together in a different order, and it's called something different. The only new addition to this song, compared to other ones on this album, is the fact that Xan is complaining that he's having sex with someone who he considers to be basic. But other than that, it's the same Xan you've come to expect from this point. Simple, repetitive lyrics, talking about sex, talking about his ex, but we also have a little bit of variety because this was set in winter this time. Ooh. With only clocking in at 1 minute and 46 seconds, it doesn't really overstay its welcome, but it makes me just think, why is this even here? Not necessarily needed, but it's here. Next song is called Deceived. I'm so glad Diego has been clean for years at the time of this review, because, man, does Xan's performance on this song make me so nervous. What I've noticed throughout this album is Xan gets distracted really easily. It seems like he can't really stay focused to talk about the same topic for more than 4 bars in a row. For this song, he's going to talk about his ex, about how his friends are fake and don't like him, about religion, and he's just going to keep bopping back and forth from these concepts when only one of them needed to be the topic. All of his songs are like this, and it makes it such an unsatisfying experience to listen to this album back to back, because all of the themes, concept, and bars just blend in together to make this big pot of flavorless soup. It just makes it so hard for all these songs to stand out, with the exceptions being so far Moonlight, Saved by the Bell, and Mr. Tumnus's Thirst Trap song. Deceived is just another victim of the flavorless soup. Indistinguishable and forgettable. Here it is, Lil Xan's most popular and most successful song to date. This is Betrayed. With over 618 million plays on Spotify and over 212 million views on the music video alone, this song truly is a force to be reckoned with. Hell, it's so famous there's even a Minecraft parody song of it.
Pop the chest, I opened up, I sold my pick a good price out of ores, and my Steve got talent right. Whole village ran through the stuff.
That's how big it is. Now, little known fact, Lil Xan admitted to Genius that this song was written in only 20 minutes. And to me, oh, it sure sounds like it. From the numbers I'm seeing here on Spotify alone, it's clear that millions of people have listened to Total Xanarchy, but not at the same scale as people have listened to Betrayed. The majority of people will never notice that Lil Xan copied and pasted every theme and several lines from this song to other songs to make this a full-length album. The reason I believe Xan started copying himself in the first place is he just saw the success of Betrayed and was like, I'll just do that over and over and over again, and just watch the money print itself. And guess what? He was right. It worked. Now, despite its success, I am not a fan of Betrayed. While I do appreciate the energy Xan starts the song with, I am so tired of these sleepy, sluggish choruses that just zap away all the energy away from the track. But I will admit the song has at least one more thing going for it, and that it's home to one of the worst/best lines of Xan's career. Now I'm not going to say it because my last video got age restricted, but I'm going to put it on screen. Here it is. You like that? Oh my god, Xan, why? Next song is called Slingshot. Slingshot is only 1 minute and 29 seconds, and doesn't really need to be here if I'm being honest, but at least Xan seems like he's a lot more into the performance, which does make it stand out in a good way. The beat is not my favorite, but it is different enough from the last 3 to be a bit of a breath of fresh air, but the lyrics are nothing special. It's Xan being Xan. You already know what the drill is by now. The music is fine enough. I'm sure it would sound really good in the background of a party, but it's not something substantial enough for you to search out for your own. It would actually be a great addition to a playlist called Music to Play While You're Distracted. Next song is called Far. You know, I never really had these before, but they are pretty tasty. I can see why Xan likes them. You know, my feelings with Far are very similar to my feelings with Slingshot. The beat is distinct like Slingshot, but I actually like this one, so it's a little bit better for me. Xan seems awake and that he's trying, and that is fantastic. I like the somber way the song ends. You have these like police sirens in the background, and the whole ending has this very trancey, dreamy like vibe, and it's really cool. I really do like it. Most songs on this album, they seem like they have to end as soon as Xan utters the last lyric, but not here. This one gives you some time to digest before the next song begins, and that's good. That's good. I like that. Also, Far is a song I can almost recommend for its lyrics, which is the highest praise I've given Xan's lyrics so far. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still have talks about his drug use, him losing his friends, and getting his knob licked, but we do have an added little thing here where he talks about how he feels about his current rise into popularity, which is a unique take, and I'm surprised we don't talk about that more on this album. Overall, the song seems way more concise and like Xan has something to actually say, which is great. And if that sounds like a low bar to pass this song, well, that's because it is. Hey, listen, there's no way we're gonna get a high passing grade here anymore, people. We are shooting directly straight for that D-. And with this song getting a solid C from me, well, guess what? That's gonna really boost up that score. Next song is Colorblind. Yes! Finally, we got a good song from Xan. Listen, it might have taken the talents of Diplo to do it, but we're here. We got something of merit here. This song was originally featured on Diplo's EP called California, but the lyrics are all Xan, and he did a great job. You know why? Because they actually make sense. Oh my god, he could have done this the whole time? This is exciting, and I don't think we're going to have an opportunity to do this again, so let's go ahead and just break these lyrics down. Okay, woo! Let's see how Xan did it. I almost fell on my ass. Okay, we're gonna start off with verse 1. In verse 1, Xan says, I think I might be the one, the chosen one, the savior. Now what Xan's saying here is he's gonna be the one who's gonna change the rap game for the better. He's gonna be the best rapper in the world. Now, I'm not really judging this based on accuracy, just wordplay, so keep that in mind as I go along. So after that, Xan says, but all these 666 make it look like I was up to no good. Now, of course, 666 is tied directly to Satan, who a lot of people say is a pretty bad dude. And also the fact that he uses the number goes directly up against the savior line from the last one. But we're not done yet, people, because Xan's still chugging along these train tracks. Because after this one, it leads to a third line that says, at least that's what my mama said, now I'm the one giving mama bread. Candy's asking herself, is my son turning evil? Is he a bad guy? Is he playing around with a bad crowd? But then we go to the next part, now I'm the one giving mama bread. Now that line feeds in from the first one. Because Xan is such a good rapper, again, just going on wordplay, he's making so much money that he can support his mother, which is a good thing. All of this ties in together. Oh my God, what a concept! And just to think that out of all of this, not once did he talked about getting this freaking knoblet. Now verse 2 isn't as complex as verse 1, but there was one line I did want to highlight since we are talking about Xan's wordplay. And that is, love don't cost a thing, so why my girl need diamond rings? This says so much without telling us anything directly. We can tell from this line that the women in his life only want him for his status and his money. They don't care about him. They don't love him. And that's sad. And Xan said all of this without relying on the 2 words you see up in that counter. I wish the whole album was like this. Xan always wears his feelings on his sleeves. He says stuff like, all my friends are enemies, or this girl's a bitch, this girl's a hoe. But you don't have to do it. And it's way more satisfying if you don't. And hey, even the lyrics that aren't on this board, they're still passable, okay? Well, maybe not. They used to call me Diego and now my favorite drink is Fago. That one's a bit of a stretch, but hey, I'll let it slide. We got a good song, ladies and gentlemen. He wrote something decent. Yes! 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 The final song of this album is called Betrayed Remix. Cool. We had such a good song to end the album, but on the digital release, this is what ends it, and such a letdown. I already wasn't a fan of the beat before, and now that I have to listen to it again, makes me like it even less. And adding these 2 features of Rich the Kid and Yo Gotti isn't gonna make me like it anymore. Listen, I didn't care about Lil Xan talking about eating a girl out before, and I certainly don't care about him eating 2 girls out now. You need to be a very good lyricist for me to listen to something like that, and he is not Tyler the Creator. In Xan's verse, it looked like he needed to find a rhyme with the word middle. So he followed that up with, I had to go solve a riddle. And I used to pop Xans like brittle. Brittle. Like peanut brittle. 15 million streams! I feel for Rich, and especially for Yo Gotti on this song. Yo Gotti had the best verse on this entire song. And on this song, he talks about his family's involvement with drug dealing, and how his actions could have had him arrested, or worse, even killed people. And even if he regrets his actions in the past, it's what led him to be the man he is today. And this all plays into the drug-free message that Xan claims to be about. But the instrumental is just so weird and awkward. Yo Gotti's talents were wasted here, all because it just sounds so sluggish and awful for me. I don't think Betrayed Remix should have been made. That's my opinion. Some people like this. Again, 15 million streams. And with this being the last song, before we go to the Board of Shame, let's see the B&H counter, how many times Xan says those 2 words within the 43-minute runtime. Fascinating. 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 Now, when you see this total, you'd be like, oh, that's not so bad. But just remember that every single time he's brought this up, it was never really related to the song. So that's a lot of times for the song to be interrupted to just talk about getting your knob licked. Okay, now with all of that being said and done, let's finally go to the Board of Shame. Let's see how this thing ranks, shall we? Alright, it is now time to see if Total Xanarchy belongs on the Board of Shame. There's some songs I think are quite good, like Moonlight and Colorblind. But when I think about what makes them good, Lil Xan is not really the reason for it. I agree with what The Guardian says, where I think the majority of the lyrics that Xan has given us on this album are bad. They are not good, his performance is bad, he is immature. Everything about this release, if Xan touched it, it's probably worse. No matter the feature, if they're on a song with Xan, Xan is worse than them. That is really bad for an album that has his name plastered over everything. And this is a Lil Xan album. So if the whole point of this album is to make Xan look good, he looks worse. And I know one of the main reasons why this album is so bad is because of Xan's addiction. He was struggling with it at the time. And his next album after this, Diego, has a lot more quality in it than this one does, because he has a clear mind, a clear vision, he has stuff to say. This Xan is not a reflection of the man Diego is today. And even Diego doesn't think this is a good album because of who he was when he made it. And when I compare this to Waffle House Jukebox Records, I gotta say, I think Lil Xan's Total Xanarchy is worse, making it the 5th worst album I have ever heard. And even though I'm saying that he has the 5th worst album I've ever heard in my life, I am so glad he's doing a lot better for himself. Total Xanarchy is an example of too much too soon. This man did not need to get signed to Columbia. What he needed was some help. And I'm so glad that after this album is released, he got the help he needed, and now he is a lot healthier and he is sober, which is a fantastic thing to hear. And after listening to a little bit of Diego, it sounds like his music is more concise, more focused, and it seems like he's having a lot more fun with it. Alright, now that was my episode on the worst album ever made. Thank you for sticking to the end. Fun fact, it is currently snowing outside. That might not seem like a big deal for a lot of you, but it hasn't snowed here in years. So I am going to enjoy the snow while it's here, because it's probably going to be the last time I'm going to see it in maybe a decade. So I'm going to bounce, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Listening to a Bobby Johnson. You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson. You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. Listening to a Bobby Johnson. You are now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. You are now listening to a
It's time to spin the Wheel of W.A.E.M.
Well, it seems like the video froze. That's a shame. Looks like I'm gonna have to watch the next episode of Cactus Malpractice to find out what the video, to find out what the wheel landed on. Yo!